The August heat poured over my sister Victoria's perfectly kept backyard as our family barbecue carried on. Relatives were spread across the lawn, admiring her latest upgrades like they were on a house tour. My 9-year-old daughter, Emma, walked up to the grill and picked up a burger, smiling like any hungry kid would. Before she could take a bite, Victoria stepped in. Her hand moved fast, stopping the plate mid-air. Sunlight bounced off the diamond bracelet on her wrist as she lifted the burger away. "Not so fast, sweetheart," she said, her tone sweet on the surface but cold underneath. "Kids who don't have much need to earn their food at family events. That's how real life works." Emma's cheeks turned bright red. Around 20 family members stopped what they were doing and stared. Some nodded. Others looked away. Victoria handed Emma a long pool net and pointed toward her massive swimming pool, where leaves floated across the surface. "The pool needs cleaning before dinner," she said. "I'm sure your mom taught you about hard work." She glanced at me with that familiar smirk I'd known since we were kids. I stayed quiet, sitting back in my lawn chair and sipping lemonade. Emma looked at me, confused and hurt. I gave her a small nod. With shaking hands, she took the net. My brother Marcus laughed from his chair. "Good parenting, Vic. Teaching kids to earn their place. Unlike some people." My mother added, not even trying to hide the dig. "Some folks just expect successful family members to provide for them." I didn't respond. I pulled out my phone and sent a quick message. A reply came almost instantly. Victoria's husband, Greg, fired up the grill again and announced that premium steaks would be served to the adults who contribute to society. Emma struggled to skim leaves from the pool. The net was heavy, and her arms were small. Other kids ran past her, splashing and laughing, completely carefree. "Mom," she whispered when she came near me, "why do I have to work?" "Just a little longer, sweetheart," I said softly. "You're doing great." Victoria overheard and smiled like she'd won something. "See? Even she understands her place. This is what happens when you waste your life on silly jobs instead of building real success." My father raised his glass toward Victoria. "To our youngest partner at Henderson & Associates, making the family proud." Everyone cheered. Victoria soaked it all in. For the past hour, she had been talking nonstop about her latest legal case, her new Mercedes, and her upcoming trip to the Maldives. She proudly mentioned, again, that the country club had approved her for their executive diamond membership. "The club president personally called me," she had said earlier. "They don't usually accept professionals at my level." The yearly fee was $60,000, but according to Victoria, that was just the price of being around the right people. She went on about the private golf course, exclusive dining rooms, and members-only events. That membership wasn't just a hobby, it was her entire personality. Marcus laughed and added, "Remember when Dad tried to get us memberships there? They rejected him twice." "That's what happens when you have real connections," Victoria said, glancing at me. "Some people know how to network. Others just exist." I checked my phone again. Another message came through. I replied with 2 words, "Do it." Emma finished one section of the pool, clearly exhausted. Sweat rolled down her forehead. Victoria inspected her work like a drill sergeant. "You missed spots here and here," she said sharply. "Do I have to teach you everything? Maybe if you paid attention in school you'd understand how to do a proper job." Nearby, the other kids played Marco Polo, their laughter echoing across the yard. Not one of them was asked to lift a finger. My Aunt Patricia joined in. "You're way too soft on her. My kids knew how to work at that age. But then again, their mother actually accomplished something." Then Victoria turned directly to me, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. She placed her wine glass down slowly. "So, what do you even do now?" she asked. "Still freelancing? Writing, consulting, whatever you call it. Must be nice having so much free time. No real pressure. No responsibilities. I do meaningful work, I replied calmly, holding her gaze. My father jumped in, warming up to his favorite lecture. That's the problem with your generation. No stability, no real careers, just floating around with creative jobs that don't lead anywhere. In my day, you picked a profession, stuck with it, and built a legacy. I stayed silent. For now. I've always been the dreamer in this family, my mother added. Her tone made it clear that dreaming was not meant as praise. Never had Victoria's ambition or Marcus's business instincts, just drifting from one thing to the next. Victoria smiled, clearly pleased that everyone was lined up against me. At least Emma will learn some discipline today, she said. Better late than never. Just then, Victoria's phone rang. She glanced at the screen, frowned, and answered. Hello. Yes, this is Victoria Brennan. A pause. What? That can't be right. The color drained from her face. Conversation stopped across the yard. I was approved just last month, she said, her voice rising. The president himself called me. This makes no sense. Another pause. What do you mean my membership is under review? She slowly pulled the phone away from her ear and stared at it. They hung up on me. Greg stepped forward. Who was that? The country club, she said, her voice shaking. They said my membership is suspended pending a board investigation. Something about misconduct and false references. Marcus laughed nervously. That's crazy. Call them back. She tried. No answer. Tried again. Straight to voicemail. My phone vibrated. I glanced down and allowed myself a very small smile. This is insane, Victoria said. I have dinner there tomorrow night with the senior partners from Henderson. This could destroy everything. Maybe it's just a paperwork issue, my mother offered weakly. Victoria's phone rang again. A different number. She answered instantly. Yes, this is she. Her face tightened. No, I never. She slowly lowered the phone. That was the head of membership, she said quietly. The board received a complaint about my behavior. They said I mistreated staff and acted in ways that go against the club's values. Every head turned toward me. I calmly took another sip of lemonade. Victoria opened her mouth to speak, but her phone buzzed again. A text message. She read it, and tears welled in her eyes. They're demanding I return my membership immediately, she whispered. And they've already informed my firm. Greg looked stunned. Why would they contact your firm? Because, she said, her voice breaking. The complaint came from someone extremely influential. Someone whose word carries more weight than mine. She looked straight at me. Who is this person? I stood up, walked over to Emma, and gently took the pool net from her tired hands. Go get your burger, sweetheart, I said. Get two if you want. Marcus shot to his feet. Wait, what's going on? My phone rang. I answered on speaker. Hello, James. All handled, came a calm, authoritative voice. I spoke directly with the board. Mrs. Brennan's membership has been permanently revoked. I also informed my colleague at Henderson and Associates. He was deeply concerned. Thank you, James, I said. I appreciate how quickly you took care of it. Of course, he replied. Your work saved our club from a $50 million lawsuit 2 years ago. We don't forget things like that. And for the record, we don't tolerate members who demean others, especially children. I ended the call. The backyard was completely silent. James? Victoria whispered. James Morrison, I said, president of the country club. Former client. My father stared at me. You're a lawyer? Yes, I replied. Corporate litigation. I've been practicing for 12 years. I paused. Freelance, as Victoria likes to say, because I prefer choosing my own clients instead of playing firm politics. I handle high-level property disputes and contract cases. My retainer starts at $50,000. No one spoke. Marcus's jaw dropped. My mother nearly dropped her glass. But you dress so simple, my Aunt Patricia started. On purpose, I said calmly. Not advertising wealth makes people show their true character. It's been very educational. Marcus shook his head. Why didn't you ever tell us? No one asked, I said, and I didn't feel the need to correct assumptions that made you feel superior. My mother's face turned pale. The club membership your father applied for. I advised against it, I said. James asked my opinion. I told him it wasn't a good fit. I was protecting the club from behavior like what we saw today. Victoria was openly crying now. You've ruined my career, she sobbed. They'll fire me. No, I said evenly. You did that yourself. I just made sure the truth reached the right people. Greg stepped forward. This affects me too. Our reputation. Our social circle. Then you should have stopped your wife from humiliating a 9-year-old, I replied. But you didn't. Patricia stood up angrily. This is too much. She's your sister. And Emma is my daughter, I said. Which one do you think comes first? My father tried to soften his voice. Family doesn't tear family apart over one mistake. This wasn't one mistake, I said quietly. This was 20 years of insults, dismissal, and disrespect. I tolerated it when it was only me. The moment it touched my child, it ended. Victoria looked up through tears. What do you want? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. I don't want anything, I said. I just wanted you to understand that the person you looked down on your whole life had the power to change yours with one phone call. And now, you do. Come on. Marcus tried one last time. Let's all calm down. Victoria will give a proper apology. We'll have dinner, and things can go back to normal. Normal. I took Emma's hand. Normal was my daughter being treated like unpaid help at a family gathering. I wasn't interested in normal anymore. We walked toward the gate together. Behind us, everything unraveled. Victoria was frantically calling the country club, her law firm, and anyone she thought might fix things. My parents argued quietly about whether to defend her or try to smooth things over with me. Greg stood off to the side, already calculating the damage to their finances and reputation. When we reached the car, Emma looked up at me. Mom, are you really a lawyer? I smiled. Yes, sweetheart, a very good one. Why didn't you tell them before? I buckled her seatbelt gently. Because letting people underestimate you can be useful. In my work, that's called leverage. She nodded, thinking hard. What happens now? Now we go home, I said. And you never have to clean anyone's pool again. As I started the engine, my phone rang one last time. Just wanted to update you, James said. The board meeting wrapped up. We're changing our membership screening process. From now on, character matters more than titles or resumes. Honestly, it should have been that way all along. Sounds like the right move, I replied. One more thing, he added. Any attorney you personally recommend will now receive priority review. Consider it our way of saying thank you. The board agreed unanimously. I thanked him and ended the call. In the rearview mirror, I caught one last glimpse of Victoria's house, the flawless backyard, the showpiece pool, the carefully built image of success. An image based on the belief that she was better than everyone else, that her job title and exclusive memberships made her superior to the sister she'd spent years looking down on. The sun was setting, stretching long shadows across her property. People were packing up quietly. The party was over, replaced by awkward goodbyes and hushed conversations. I knew messages were already being sent, stories spreading, truths coming out. Sometimes the quietest person in the room holds the most power. My family had just learned that lesson. Emma was fast asleep by the time we got home, drained from a long and humiliating day. I carried her inside and tucked her into bed, knowing that tomorrow she'd wake up in a world where her aunt no longer had control over her. Victoria, on the other hand, would wake up to a very different reality. No membership, a damaged reputation, a law firm questioning whether she was worth the trouble. Her dinner with senior partners canceled. Her image as a rising star permanently cracked. All because she chose to belittle a child. All because she needed to feel important. I poured myself a glass of wine and stepped onto my modest patio. No luxury pool, no grand displays, just peace. A home where my daughter is safe, valued, and never has to earn her right to exist. My phone showed missed calls and unread messages from family members. I'd respond someday, but not tonight. Tonight, I enjoyed the quiet, and the reminder that justice doesn't always take years of courtrooms and arguments. Sometimes it only takes one phone call from the right person at the right time.